To sell on the internet, your products or website need to be easy to find, and the site itself should be easy to use. You'll also need to treat your customers fairly. Coming up, we'll give you ideas on building your own website and alternative ways you can sell online. We'll also give you advice on the laws you'll have to follow. Selling your product or service via the internet could be quite profitable, so it's worth giving your options some serious thought. First, let's look at creating your online shop. Building your own website is cheaper than paying someone else to do it, but if you don't know what you're doing, you can end up with a site that puts customers off. So, put your customers first from the start. Get ideas about what works by using other websites. What makes you want to buy from them? You may find the best ones have simple designs and are very easy to use. Creating an online shop yourself is probably a lot easier than you think. There are lots of website building services available online that you can use to create a relatively simple site surprisingly quickly. Or, if you don't think your computing skills are up to that, another way to sell products online is through an established internet marketplace, such as eBay or Amazon. One advantage of this option is that these sites already have lots of visitors, but you'll also make less profit because you'll have to pay fees. Another option is to hire a professional web designer to create a business website for you. You'll have more control over what the site looks like and its features, but this option will cost more. Talk to designers to find out what you can afford. Decide how much you're willing to spend and stick to it. If you want to take payments through your website, your site will need a shopping cart function and a secure way for customers to pay. One more option is to take payments through an online service like PayPal or Moneybookers. But if you set up an internet merchant bank account, it's also possible to take payments directly. You can find more advice on accepting online payments elsewhere on this site. Make sure you test your site before launching it. You can test it yourself, but you should also consider getting some independent and unbiased people to test it for you. Also, keep an eye on how people use your site. Change things that don't work and add new things to keep it fresh.
Hi, my name is Louise Brady-Menser and I'm the Managing Director of Shubs.com. Shubs is an online ticketing and promotion service for small to medium-sized event organisers. Currently, we predominantly service event organisers based in the London area. Our current focus is on nightclub event organisers and live music event organisers. I created the website for Shubs.com because essentially the website is the business. It was how my clients were going to interact with the actual service that I was providing. People are very, very wary of e-commerce websites handing over their credit card details to websites they haven't heard of. One thing that reassures them is if the website looks good. It might sound really basic, but cosmetically it's important as well that people look at a website and think, okay, this is a website that I can trust to give my credit card details to. In order to find a suitable web designer for your business, it's really important that you initially look at websites that you actually like and then do some research as to who actually built those websites. Once you've done that, the key thing is then contact those developers. Get some quotes, get some ideas as to if it's within your budget and within your timescale. And finally, it's really important as well that you don't just prepare a brief and give it to a developer. You need to keep in regular contact with them. Actually sit down with them and make sure they understand your brief. This isn't going to be just a one-off relationship. Websites are evolving all the time and you need to be able to maintain a good working relationship with that developer. So I really suggest you, really work out, this is the kind of person that I can see having an ongoing relationship with. I would be a bit realistic and look at your whole business idea and have a look at, are there some things that I can perhaps leave for later phases and just work on a smaller component for phase one and then assign a smaller budget on that, test the market. Hopefully if it works you can use the money that you generate from that to work on the other phases at a later stage. And when agreeing a contract with a web designer, some of the terms and conditions that are quite typical and the ones that you should be looking out for is firstly to make sure that you own the intellectual property. You should be free to take your website to any other developer if you choose so in the future, so that's very important. Secondly, it's also important that as soon as the project ended that you have all the code. And I would say for business owners that may think, well, I don't understand this code, what am I going to do with it? It doesn't matter, it's yours, you have a right to own it, and you can then use it for another developer at a later stage. And I think finally, within the terms and conditions, it's really important that you're clear as to what happens when the project ends. So some developers will then automatically put you onto a maintenance contract. You need to work out what that will be. They may offer a daily rate. So anytime you have a problem, they can fix it at their daily rate. You need to make sure you know what their daily rate is so you're not surprised at all. Those are really essential things that you make sure you cover in the terms and conditions. And also make sure the website is designed in a way in which you have some control. You do not want to be dependent on external people. Yes, get them in to build a website, obviously leverage off from their expertise, but the key aspects of your business that are on your website you want to have control over.
You've seen some of the options to build your website. Now we'll look at what to put on it and what laws you'll need to follow. What your visitors see on your site should tell them clearly and honestly about your business and the product or services you sell. There are some things you have to tell customers by law: your address and contact details, how you'll protect their personal information, and what they can expect when buying from you. These are your terms and conditions of sale. The terms and conditions are the legal agreement between you and each customer. They'll include things like how they can pay you and what you'll do if they want to return goods. Use your homepage to tell visitors what you sell and why they should buy it. Competitors are just a click away, so be brief and focus on what makes you different. Are your products higher quality? Is your customer service better? If so, tell them. You must describe your products accurately and tell people exactly what they'll have to pay, including any VAT and delivery charges. Don't spring any surprises on your customers. What you do to promote your site will also affect what's on it. For example, search engine optimization and pay-per-click advertising will influence the way you describe your products. You might also want a function that makes it easy for customers to share what they've found with friends on networking sites like Facebook and Twitter. Take a look at this to see some ideas on how to promote your website to attract more visitors.
It's no good having a website if nobody knows it's there. To sell your product or service online, you need to tell people where you are and what you've got to sell. Getting to grips with website marketing can ensure you have a steady stream of visitors to your site who are ready to buy. There are a variety of ways you can promote yourself online. Most businesses use one or all of these three: search engine optimization, pay-per-click advertising, and social media marketing. Search engine optimization, or SEO, is crucial if you want customers to find your website using search engines. In very simple terms, the key to SEO is to include enough of the right words in the right places on your site. For instance, if you're a builder looking for customers in Lancashire, you want to use the words building, builder, and Lancashire a lot. Mastering SEO can be challenging though, as it's not just about keywords. So, if you're struggling to make an impact, it might be worth hiring a professional copywriter with SEO experience. The web designer should also be able to help. Pay-per-click advertising is an alternative way of using search engines to get interested people to your site. You pick your keywords and bid for them on a particular search engine. If you're, say, the third highest bidder, your advert will appear third in the paid listings at the top of the page. With this type of advertising, you only have to pay when someone clicks on your link. To make pay-per-click advertising work, you need to link your advert to the page that gives the potential buyer exactly what they're looking for. Social media marketing is using social networking sites like Twitter and Facebook to communicate with customers. It's an informal way to build relationships, and it works best if you don't sell hard. If you're friendly and informative, you can attract followers who are interested in your product or service.
That's your website content and promotion covered. Now let's look more at the laws you need to know about when selling online. These laws do three things. They help protect customers' rights, make sure their personal information is safe, and ensure what they buy is of good enough quality. The e-commerce regulations set out the information about your business that you must give to your online customers. They also ensure that agreements made online are legally binding, so you and your customers have to stick to your word. The Data Protection Act controls how you use and protect personal information you hold about customers, including addresses and bank details. And distance selling rules make sure you give your customers clear information before they order from you. Under these, you have to confirm orders in writing and offer a cooling off period during which customers can cancel their order. These laws ensure that you don't mislead visitors to your website. Any information you give about products, delivery and prices must be truthful and clearly stated. The design and content of your site must also respect other people's copyright. For example, you shouldn't use anyone else's text, images or music on your site unless you've got their permission. And remember to help disabled customers use your website by making it clear and accessible.
Tax is sometimes overlooked by people who start selling online, but the same tax rules apply whether you're selling online or face-to-face. Understanding what taxes you have to pay and when will help you manage your money better, and you won't find yourself faced with a surprise tax bill. So regardless of whether you're a sole trader, partnership, or limited company, you must pay income tax on your taxable profit. If you're registered for VAT, you also have to charge VAT on your sales and pay that to HMRC too. If you already run a business and you're about to start trading online, don't forget to include online sales in your sales records. You may have been selling online occasionally and decided to become a self-employed internet trader. If so, you must register for self-assessment with HMRC. You'll also have to pay a weekly national insurance contribution of around £2.50. If you become a limited company, you'll have to pay corporation tax on your company profits. And if your turnover from sales in the previous 12 months reaches a certain level, or you expect your turnover in the next 30 days alone to exceed a certain level, you must register for VAT. VAT can be quite complicated, so it's important to check which rules apply. For example, if you give away a product as a sample, you usually pay VAT on its full value. Or, if you sell gift vouchers, you charge VAT when the voucher's used, not when you sell it. You might even find yourself selling to customers around the world. Generally, if you're VAT registered and selling to someone in the EU who is not registered for VAT, you charge VAT. If you sell to customers outside the EU, it's possible to use a zero rate of VAT, as these are classed as export sales. But you do need to meet certain conditions. This includes keeping documents to prove the goods have been sold and sent to a foreign customer. If in doubt, the golden rule with VAT is to find out where you stand. Tax can be a tricky area for businesses to get to grips with, but the same rules apply for online businesses as for any other, so you need to get on top of tax from the start.
Online selling laws are in place to make sure you trade fairly and treat your customers well. Remember, it doesn't have to be costly or time-consuming to build your website. However, to get the best site, it pays to use a professional. You'll also need to make sure your information is clear and your site is easy to use. You must also treat customers fairly by trading within the law.